Now you know your personality, you know why you're different from your competition. Let's gear towards your audience a little bit more. How do you find your audience in the first place? First, let's start with the broadest circle of people who might be interested in your product or service, and then we're going to narrow it down a little bit. So for me, the broadest circle that I came up with was anyone with a camera and a computer. Because anyone with a camera could shoot videos or photos and might be interested in learning how to create visuals with them. But that's a pretty broad circle. That is billions of people around the world. And that's great to have that big of an audience, but sometimes it's harder to sell your product if your audience is so big. You might want to start with a more niche down audience and then maybe expand. So then I was trying to think to myself, let's make it a little bit smaller. So my next circle was anyone that wants to make videos. And that's how Video School Online started, teaching just video production. And that was great because we were sort of niched down to anyone that wants to make videos, not just entrepreneurs, not just creative filmmakers. But this sort of put us in a bubble where if we wanted to put out photo editing classes or other types of design classes, we were going outside of our target audience. So our third idea for our circle of audience was anyone that wants to create visuals to improve their business. And the reason why we chose that was because, yes, while we will help people who just want to do it for fun, the people who were buying courses from us were mostly people who wanted to learn a skill to improve their career or to use it for their own business, to learn how to make videos for their own business, or maybe to start a YouTube channel as a side hustle, or start a photography business as a side hustle or a full-time business, but not just people who were doing it as a hobby. And we have found that gearing our content marketing and our advertising to that type of person has really succeeded. A really important thing to look at is what are the pain points that this customer is feeling? Because if you understand their pain, then you can solve their problems. And if you can do that, you could sell your solution to them. The first pain point that I found our target audience had was that the pro tools that we're teaching, like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects, they're confusing, especially for beginners. They're intimidating to even start. And I know that because I was that type of customer. I remember opening up Adobe After Effects multiple times and closing it because I was like, no way, I'm not going to do that right now. I don't have time to learn how to do this. And so that's one of the pain points. The second pain point is that knowing how to use the tool is not the only problem. Knowing how to use it properly is a big, major problem still. And that's something we're continuing to try to solve that problem, because we can teach how to use Photoshop, but how do we teach someone how to create a beautiful graphic or to create a graphic that sells a product? And then a third problem, which is kind of separate but more geared towards the entrepreneur, the business that we're targeting, is that they don't have money to outsource this. A lot of companies will just outsource and hire someone to create graphics for them or to create videos for them. But there is a huge market of people who are either solopreneurs, people working on their businesses on their own, side hustlers, or small companies that might need to do it themselves, at least for the time being, and they don't have money to hire out. So we want to teach them the easiest and the quickest way so that they can do it but get back to their own business as quickly as possible. Next, understand, where does your audience live? We live in the modern internet age, so in terms of places, we're talking about places on the internet most times. We're talking about on Facebook, on Twitter. Are they on Snapchat? Are they on Pinterest? On Pinterest, you're going to have lots more DIY type people compared to maybe on Instagram, you're going to have a lot more high-end fashion people. So understanding how these different social media works is good so that you can figure out if your audience is on there or not. So by answering these questions, you can understand who your target is. And by knowing that, we can move forward with the content marketing and the advertising and social media strategies with this course. But first, we got to make sure that our business is valid. And that's coming up next, business validation.